Oh, yeah. Get your friends invited in here. Share the stream around. It's going to be a good one. First 90 days. We're going to get you profitable in the next 90 days with these tips. This might be the most important stream you watch all month, all year maybe. 90 days, guys. These are the step-by-step, how you make money, how you become profitable. Doing it in 1 minute, guys. Right, guys. Hello, morning. I hope you got your Maven notebooks ready here, because we're going to take some notes. You're going to take some notes at home alongside us. Modern age has told me that I don't actually need this. I just have a notepad on the computer here, so we can get rid of that. And guys, we got experts in the house. We got James Bruce as always. He is a profitable trader that's been doing this for about what do you say, about eight years, I think you said?
8 years, 8 years, yeah.
7, 8 years. Yeah. Myself, about a decade. Emma's been a real estate mogul. We like to joke around. As usual, guys, topic questions in the comments below. Emma's reading along. 50K account to whoever's got the best question. It's completely skill-based. Whoever has the best question, right? Just like trading, it's a skill-based process. You're going to get some reward for performing well. How we're going to format this today is we are doing, there's 3 things you need to know, and there's 3 months you need to get it done, okay? First 30 days, second 30 days, third 30 days, right? So we're going to get you profitable in the next 90 days if you follow these rules here. The 3 pillars are, James, I think you might know these ones: the strategy, the mindset, and the risk management. Without all 3, you're going to fail for sure. 100% chance you fail without all 3. Okay. The most important that everyone gets struggled on is the psychology side of things. So we might save that for the very end here. But first, guys, market is booming. Let me pull up the chart here.
It is. I actually caught those longs, Hunter. So that was pretty neat. Those longs on the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. Just something interesting. Actually, I'll bring up my screen in a bit, but we did have that off that daily 200 EMA, bro, that we've been speaking about on the last few weeks of streams, right?
The daily 200 EMA.
Remember that we did speak about that. It's been the first time in a while that we've come down below it since like October 2023.
Yeah.
You know? Yep.
Yeah. Do you want me to pull it up?
Yes, EMA? Please.
Yeah, let's do
I can also share my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Yeah, you take control here, man. I hate having indicators on my screen, and it really bothers me whenever I'm going to switch that on for you. There you go.
Yep. Okay, so this is the Nasdaq on the daily time frame. You can actually see, and we did mention this. Hunter hates indicators. It's that he calls himself Dumb Hunter. It's less is it's better for him. Yeah. But we can see that, I mean, we haven't broken this 200 EMA since, when was it? October 2023 over here. And that was actually only a little bit to the downside. We did break it again last year in August. But again, you can see that this is the daily 200 EMA is used as quite a strong level of support. So not obviously we're at this level, but we did have a great bullish interaction yesterday, obviously to gap up to start the week. But if we go to the S&P, this is probably a little bit easier to actually see. This in October was the first time we broke this 200 EMA, which is the white EMA on my screen, was back in October of 2023. The first time we've actually broken it. Even last year, August, we did not. And now we're breaking it for the first time again. Now, so we are sitting currently back above it. So it's going to be interesting to see if we continue getting longs. Tesla was up 10% yesterday as well. So that's also something to note.
Tesla absolutely booming. Same with Boeing, Palantir, Robinhood. There's a couple of stocks that I'm currently holding myself too. It's been really nice to open up this week. Let me jump back to my chart here, and you can see kind of how the overlap of exactly what you were saying is that 200 EMA on the Nasdaq is coinciding exactly with kind of this zone here that I had drawn out. It might be a little bit challenging to see, but we have sort of this daily zone that's matched up with that 200 daily EMA, right? And I think we're going to see some rejection off of there. It's going to be a matter of whether or not we can get over that. But you can see when we're looking at the monthly candle, oh, wow, that is quite the buy up. Operation Save the Monthly potentially is really, really strong because we have 6 days left in that candle. And this is something really important you guys should be paying attention to, is how much time left you have in a candle, right? If a candle is absolutely blown up, it's pretty unlikely when it comes near the end of it that it's going to come back down. So you can still hedge your bets however you want there. But we did take the long too this morning. We do a live stream every single morning on my personal accounts here, sponsored by Maven, of course. And that is a beautiful sniper entry. Simply trying to follow that trend back up to that 200 EMA that you were talking about, or that daily zone. You can see the rejection that we are currently rejecting off of that. Now, a lot of people asking about Bitcoin. I'm going to give my opinion here, and then you're going to give yours. This is pretty much what I'm thinking, right? The only levels that matter right now are these weekly and monthly candles with Bitcoin. And you have already tested that 93K level previously on that buyback on this really quick wick here, right? But the reality is you still have all of this possible rejection that you can reject off of. And it might be a long time until we see new highs because this range is so massive, right? So if you are looking at crypto, be prepared that we could sit in here for the next year, right? That is a huge range. This is going to take us a month, maybe. This is going to take us a month, maybe. This is going to take us another month. We could be sitting in this range until 2026. So you don't need to rush into it. That's my opinion. I don't think we're going significantly lower. If we do go lower, you're looking at that 71, that 60K range, somewhere in here at the absolute sort of maximum lowness. So it is a decent buy here if you guys are planning. I seen somebody say, hey, is the correction done? Right. My opinion is we're in a bear market because of that candle, because of that EMAs getting crossed and everything. That's, in my opinion, a bear market. But James, I'm going to throw your chart back on. Your choice on Bitcoin, or talk about gold if you prefer.
I would. I've taken a lot more trades on Bitcoin than I have on gold, Hunter. So, but I can definitely speak about gold from a technical aspect as well. But we are currently. Do you find, just out of interest sake, Hunter, do you find that Bitcoin moves quite similarly to the US indexes?
Yeah, there's an interesting correlation with Bitcoin that
It is.
I see. It's a blend between gold and the NASDAQ. It's something really weird that we've never seen before, that it is both a super, super risky asset and a super, super risk adverse asset, because people are investing for the long term, similar to gold, but the liquidity and the newness of it is so small that you get the pulls from both directions.
Yeah. Okay. So just something on Bitcoin I am seeing, and I know Hunter, this is why I love trading. There's so many different styles of trading. Hunter likes to keep it simple, doesn't like the indicators. I kind of like using indicators because different styles of trading, right? And what I'm currently seeing over here, we obviously are at the daily 200 EMA on Bitcoin, but if you're looking to take it, I would see we kind of like really in control. The bulls are really in control. If we get back above this like 95K level and then maybe come back and retest it for a move higher. But I mean, we are kind of basing out here as well. We try to come lower off this. And I would say, a long swing potential would not be bad for maybe like a stop at 76K, maybe trying to take it back up to the highs like that, because we are getting through this 8 and 21 EMA cross on the daily time frame right now, which is obviously indication of trend. Just a simple moving average crossover could indicate that we could be moving back to the high side. So yeah, I mean, that could be a possibility for a swing trade. Obviously no one knows, but I would say the confirmation would be we get back above 95K.
Yeah. And you're definitely going to need to be watching that 93, 95K level to see the reaction off of it if you do take that long. Hey, if you hit that level and it just starts dumping back down, it's not showing any strength, probably get out of that trade, because there's a good chance that we're going to be coming back down to where your stop is, right? Because if we can't gain 95, then we're going to 71. It's the reality of what we're trying to test right now.
Yep.
Guys, okay, let's jump back to our faces. Beautiful. Emma, say hello.
Oh, I can speak now, huh? Hi, guys.
Okay, so as always,
YouTube chat today.
Emma's been throwing the questions up there. A couple nice questions for us already, asking about Bitcoin and just slowly seeing Orange Army. I love it. Okay, perfect. Guys, let's discuss first 90 days. Okay, you are a new trader, and let's just quickly say, hey, maybe I'm not a new trader. Maybe you've been doing this for years. I was talking about this on stream this morning, and it's kind of funny is when you get to the 3 or 4 year mark, that's kind of like a turning point where you don't know anything new, right? And if you haven't been able to make profitability by the time you're 3-4 years in, you have all the knowledge you need. So you need to try something new. You need to maybe go back, because new traders are actually somewhat profitable sometimes because they don't have all this crazy knowledge in their mind pulling them from all these different directions. So it might actually be wise for you to sit in this meeting right now and say, hey, I'm going to learn as if I'm new, because sometimes I need to go back to the roots, and that's how I'm going to make profitability, right? And otherwise, you're going to be still sitting in that 3-4 year range, the 3-4 year amount of experience for the rest of your life, kind of always churning the butter or something. I don't know what would we be churning. What are you churning?
I agree with you what you're saying there on that, though, in terms of like sometimes overcomplicating things and extra knowledge is actually not necessary. That's let's just play on your play on words, Hunter. Dumb money concepts, right? Sometimes simplicity, that saying, keep it simple, stupid, KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. It's most of the time, it's not technical analysis or an extra layer of, oh, I need to understand how the algorithm to the market works. It's not that. It's probably just to keep it simple and repetitive each day, right?
Yeah. There's an interesting take that the trade I took today actually on stream, people are like, why'd you take that trade? All I did was I drew a box at a level and then I looked to see if price bought off of it. And it did. Congrats. We're going to take a long, right? And it's so simple, easy once you get to that level. And then the actual challenge of trading becomes that third step, is that psyche. So let's jump into it. Number one, first 30 days is we are going to, first you need to learn kind of just the basics. We're going to skip over kind of the basics here. You need to start finding a singular strategy or a singular pair to trade, because we don't want to be looking at everything. So our first thought is, let's decide on what is the one thing I'm going to do and do it super, super well. So James, what you only kind of do one thing, right? What is that one thing?
Yeah, so I would say, are you talking in terms of trading strategy or trading assets?
However you want to take it. Let's just dive into it.
I would say personally, in terms of the one thing. Okay, I would say it's trading strategy. First of all, you need a simple trading strategy. You want to be one day trading harmonic patterns, and then the next day trying to day trade, with VWAPs or EMAs, or the next day trying to swing trade using Elliott wave strategies. I think you need one thing, and you need that's one strategy. That's probably the first and foremost, actually a business plan. It comes down to the same thing as, like, if you are a businessman and an entrepreneur, I think it's better if you focus on one thing as well. You don't want to be starting maybe a drop shipping, and then all of a sudden the next day you're like, I'm going to open up a food truck shop company. That's going to, you focus on one thing, and that's one plan of doing things. That is the first thing I would say. You need one way of doing things, and that is a strategy.
That's a great reflection, actually. Yeah, like a business owner is not running 5 different businesses at once. What you do is you get one profitable one, and then you branch out, maybe, right? Instead of having all of this repertoire of knowledge, kind of how I was referring to those intermediate traders that were always, trying to do all these different things and then messing it up. So you trade more the trend, moving average, sort of idea.
VWAPs and kind of trend with trend. I struggle taking trades against trends. This is not what I do well. And I'm more like a base hit type of vibe, Hunter. Like, I'm not looking for like 10R on a trade. I'm literally looking for like between the 1 to 1.5 R per trade. And I'm locking it up, like snag and bag type vibe. That's just what I've done well over time. And then, you continue stacking up the payouts and build up the personal account and that type of thing. And that's what I've done well and what's worked for me. So I think, picking one thing, and that's what I do well. And you got to find what you do well as a new trader as well,
Okay. So everyone at home with their notebooks here that I threw behind.
That's thrown behind the screen.
I want you guys at home, what you're going to do is you're going to write down, so the first 30 days, we're going to find a strategy for you that works. Okay. And I want you to write down 3 possible strategies, okay, that you might want to use. Okay. And we're going to pick which one for you later after you kind of back test. And that's the next goal here. So first of all, pick which strategy you're thinking. So maybe I'm going to write down, hey, I want a VWAP strategy, right? Maybe you're going to write down, hey, I want to just do a support resistance. Pick easy things that aren't going to be too crazy. And then maybe you have another strategy that is a stop hunt sort of strategy. You're waiting for the stop hunts or something. And we're going to write those 3 down, and we're going to figure out which one suits us best, right? Because that's really going to go well with the psyche side of things later. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is you're going to pick, which pair do I trade? I'm only trading one pair. Okay. What do you recommend, James? Which pair is best to start with?
Yeah, I mean, I've done it all, Hunter, and I think something that maybe I strayed away. I made actually a video on this, but I strayed away from after the birth of my son and everything. Just overcomplicated. To use your motto, Hunter. Dumb. Keep it simple, right? Dumb Hunter. I'm gonna be dumb James and just keep it simple, right? So I would. Yeah, James, I would say
Bruce.
James Kiss Bruce. I love it. So I would say personally, I traded currencies for many years when I first got into it. And then I'm pivoted over to, I've traded a lot of indexes and stocks recently. I would say indexes are great. First of all, they're very low cost to trade. You can trade them great with Maven. You can use the code JB, by the way, to get some discounts. Link in my bio to get the best deals with Maven. So, but you can trade them on prop firms, personal capital, everything like that. Okay, so indexes are great. Whether you're trading the DAX, the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, I think they're very low cost. And also you're getting access to basically trading the whole stock market as a whole. I would go with indexes. It's what I've kind of pivoted to and kind of only trading. So I would choose indices.
I would totally agree with that. Pick something that trends more because it's a little bit easier to know and identify a trend, right? Those options are indices, gold, Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin might be a little bit of a weird one for you, but if you are that crypto bro, maybe that's your passion. You know what I mean? So we're going to write down whatever pair you think is best. The currencies, I would say those are really good for particularly if you're a different time zone. If you're a weird time zone, maybe like Aussie, you might want something like that. So pick something that's going to match up with your time zone. I should not be trading the DAX, right? Because I'm going to have to be up at midnight.
You're going to be midnight, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. Pick something that the highest volume is during your hours. Bitcoin might, if you can only trade Asia hours, you might want Bitcoin because that one is okay during Asia hours, right? And if you're picking a range-based strategy, you might actually want the euro, right? The euro dollar, because those ones tend to fluctuate intraday more. Okay. So write down at home what you think. You got 3 possible strategies. You got one pair, only one pair. Okay. Now what we're going to do is you're going to write down a couple of rules of what that strategy means. You need basically a priority system, right? You don't want, because you're going to have conflicting views all the time. You want either all of the things to pop up, right? And they all have to pop up every single time, or you need a priority system of, hey, I'm going to, if this is more important than the other thing, right? So an example of the difference between the two things I've just said is, hey, maybe I need to make sure that the price has entered a zone first, and then it shows the pattern, right? And both need to be in place for me to be able to take the trade. Now, what happens if the higher time frame is also showing that same pattern in the reverse direction? So this is something you have to take into consideration, is which one takes precedent. Okay. And maybe, there could be something that says, hey, I have it's appearing, but it's also appearing in the reverse direction. Okay, what do you do under that situation? So take a couple notes here. You need a priority system. But keep it simple again, right? Matt, I'm going to say how many confluences would you say maximum? I've got a number in my head.
Yeah, I would say 2 to 3.
That's it. Yeah. Exactly. 2 to 3 things maximum, guys. Right?
Yeah.
Because then you're going to get too confused.
Yeah, you can't have 10 different things. It's not repeatable.
Yeah. Okay, so the next step is what we do is we sit down and we backtest that, and we're still in the first 30 days here, guys. So now you've got some notes in your journal, and you can take the next week or so to take these notes and figure out, what different options might work with you. And you have 3 different strategies now, and I want you to go and backtest each one 25 to 50 times. Okay, does that sound about right?
So speaking of backtesting,
yeah,
maybe you could answer this. How long should a newbie backtest strategy?
Good. Thanks for jumping in, Emma. James, you want to take that?
Yeah, well, it depends. Obviously, 1 month is probably not enough. That it's still brand new. I think in terms of how long should a newbie backtest, I would say, maybe 100 to 200 trades, depending on like your time. But 100 to 200 trades, get markups of that. Mark up the chart, get a backtest of it, get a rough estimate of like what the win rate could be, the risk reward ratio, and then start implementing it. To be honest, I actually don't really like back testing. I prefer actually forward testing, because I've seen a lot of traders that will back test something and then they completely change something in real time. And I'm like, well, then, dude, all your whole hours of back testing actually meant nothing, because you're doing completely something different in real time. So I would say just get a rough estimate of 100 to 200 trades and then actually start to implement it in real time. Whether that's on a prop firm account with Maven, as mentioned, the guys are in the chat asking what the code is. The code is JB, my initials, JB, right?
Yeah.
So I would say then start to implement like on a Maven prop firm challenge in real time. And that's what I would do.
Totally. I would completely agree with you there. I think backtesting has its value one time, right? What you do is you figure out, hey, is this something that I want to be doing, right? It's not even necessarily Is it something that's profitable? It's what you're doing is you're scanning back, seeing how active that strategy is, right? How somewhat profitable is it, right? You need to make sure it's like a little bit profitable, maybe, right? And you can always just add and tweak to it while you're actually trading the strategy. The back testing, you should only ever do it one time per strategy. Look, 25.50, right? That's my guess. You said 100, right? Whatever you think. But I think 100 is definitely sufficient for to determine if you want to do that strategy. Now, again, guys, there's another thing you want to write down here that's part of your strategy that I've just remembered is your time frames. Okay, so if your job, think about your life. What's your job? What's your kids look like? You know, not what they look like, but I'm sure they're beautiful. But what's your schedule? Do you need to be a swing trader? I get countless interviews with people that say, hey, I work a 9 to 5. All I do is I wake up in the morning, I look at the chart quickly, I place the trade, and then I go on my day.
Yeah.
Or do you have the option to sit around?
I also want to mention this as well. And I see a lot of guys in the chat as well saying they only trade GBP USD or something. I just want to say this is that I think that that if you, as a newbie trader, I think it's good to focus on one. But I will say this, that sometimes if you're only trading one particular currency pair, what happens if the currency market, and this is something I had to learn in my journey, what happens if the currency market's completely dead? It's moving in a 20-point range, and now look, but the NASDAQ is moving 400 points on an average day. Well, you basically, it's so tough. What you trade is as important as how you trade, because you can actually be a profitable trader, and then for a year, and then all of a sudden, the maybe pound dollar market stops moving. Now you got to, I would say you always maybe have like 1 or 2 things or 3 assets that you pivot from. Maybe it's GBP USD and the NASDAQ. Maybe it's GBP USD and the DAX because you trade in the London session. So I would always say, yes, have a currency pair and that's good. But I think I fell victim to this myself, is that that's why when I pivoted over to trading some indexes and I actually loved it, was that the currencies were just in a stagnant place, and it's very tough to trade something that's not moving,
I can reflect on that too. The Bitcoin cycles.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you're trading a small account, though, just because we have a question here about trading small accounts, how many different ones would you choose to trade?
In terms of what?
Just because they were talking about trading pairs, and you were saying like only trading one pair, the risk of that. I feel like if you have a bigger account, you kind of have a little bit more flexibility in how many pairs you might be trading. So do you have a recommended account for?
I mean, you can maybe, I mean, I don't know, Hunter, maybe you can have like 3 accounts, and on one account you only trade the DAX, on one account you only trade pound dollar, and on another account you trade Bitcoin. I think Hunter's actually helped me on this with my trading recently, is not trading all of your accounts at the same time, not having them on a copier, because you lose, you're getting blown out. So I think having different accounts that you may be trading different assets on could be, same strategy, but different assets on could be beneficial for sure.
You know why that's actually wise too, is because then you can determine, hey, I might actually not be profitable while I'm trading Bitcoin. You know what I mean? If I keep blowing the Bitcoin account, then I'm just going to stop trading Bitcoin. Right.
Exactly.
And what you were saying though about markets being flat, if you decide you want to be a Bitcoin trader and all you do is buy and hold, well, what's going to happen when you're in the bear market, right? You do need to develop these skills, right? And a lot of time Bitcoin will be down for years in a row, or it'll be flat for years in a row, right? And then you have no income for that year. Okay. So we do need to have something that allows us to trade continuously. So that's why the indices are great, as you said.
Yeah, I think obviously, I got told that I was trading currencies. There's quite a big trader that lives maybe 30 minutes from me, and he said, trading, you're wasting your time trading currencies. Trade indexes because they move a lot better. And that's when I was like, hey, wait a minute. There's actually, this guy's giving me advice. I know that for a fact that he's a very big trader himself, and he was like, go towards indexes, and that helped me because I was in a kind of flat period with my trading where currencies weren't really moving, and I wasn't able to take advantage of the moves like I used to. And he was like, dude, go trade indexes. You'll love it. And
currencies are hard mode, man. I don't know why everyone wants to do currencies when you can do gold, Bitcoin. That's my opinion too. Right on.
Yeah.
Back to it. Let's wrap up the first 30 days. First 30 days, we're finishing off with back testing. Okay. Right now, we don't care about the risk or anything. All we're doing is trying to figure out, is this strategy going to work with my schedule? And just a note, don't force anything that is not in line with your schedule. I used to try to trade the London session as well because I wanted the London session. I was so groggy and dead, and my brain didn't work anymore because I was trying to force something that I thought was the best case. What we're going to do is the best case is whatever you can realistically do and still be healthy, right? That's your best case. Doesn't matter where you live in the world. Doesn't matter, what your job schedule is. The only time that you have available that you can actually focus is when you get to trade. And unfortunately, if you don't have any time, you have to be a swing trader. Okay.
Sure.
And that's the rules. Okay. And write these down again, guys. You're writing it down so that you know what you have to do when you have these next 90 days to take action. Okay. Now we're back testing. You have the 3 strategies, right? You're going to just go through and you're going to look how often do they pop up, right? What percentage of them are actually hitting the take profit? And I recommend, you go for the higher percentages because that's going to be, better for our mindset, right? And just get a feel for, okay, when do these patterns appear? Is it going to fit in my schedule? That's what you're back testing. Okay. And then this way, you're going to start to be able to apply it live. Okay. You're going to have some sort of data that's going to be able to tell you, hey, this is maybe like an almost profitable strategy, right? And then we're going to go into phase 2. Now, James, what do we do probably in day 60? Okay. Now we have a strategy that we think might work for us. We've backtested it. It's going to fit our schedule. It's going to fit everything. How do we start applying it?
Yeah, well, now I think it's probably right to get some skin in the game. So whether that's trading a demo account, maybe a 10K prop firm challenge, because now you're actually putting some real money, behind your ideas and what you've learned in your first 30 days. So I think the best thing in trading is, only the game can teach you the game. You can't, you're not going to, you can read about trading, you can watch videos about trading. You can watch my videos on YouTube about trading. You can watch me and Hunter and Emma speak about trading here on every single Tuesday, but only the game can teach you the game. So you need to now go get some skin in the game by practicing yourself. And I think that's where you can start to maybe purchase a prop firm challenge, a small challenge, start to practice these ideas, understanding, how to execute. What is a lot size? What position size to use? What is a stop loss? What is a take profit? Where to place it? How to place it? And how to use the trading interfaces. So I think that's what you're starting to do in the 60 day in day 60.
Yeah, totally. And the important thing about day 60 to 90 is what we're doing is we're actually gathering data based off of our live actions. Okay. We're trading. We're not backtesting anymore. There's no need for backtesting anymore. What we're doing is we're getting a journal and we're saying, hey, we're writing down all the trades we took. We're writing down when we FOMO'd in. We're writing down when we went on tilt, when we didn't take a trade because we were fearful, right? So we're writing down both the action and the strategy. We know we're doing the exact same strategy, the exact same thing the entire time. So you don't even really need to write down the strategy. The strategy is the same thing every single day, every single trade, always the same. So what changes is what you're writing down. The variables are how I'm feeling, how much I'm risking, what's going on in the market. You know what I mean? All of these different things that might be able to have us remove losses. That's what you're looking for here, right? You're not looking for how to gain winners. You're looking for where am I going wrong so I can cut them out in day 90, right? Yep. What do you have any other things on your head that you might write down that I might be missing? That might help you. It's for journaling.
Yeah, not for now. Not for now.
Not for now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay. So then your next step is day 90, right? And this is when you're going to start reviewing and making edits to your, I guess, was it day? No, I think we got the days wrong. We're in our 3rd month now, is what I'm saying.
Yes, third month.
Day 90 is, I think we're ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah, that would be end of the 3 months, right?
So
we traders, Hunter, not mathematicians.
First 30 days, we can't count.
Yeah.
First 30 days, we figure out the theory of the back test. Second 30 days, we apply the theory. And the third 30 days, the final 30 days, is we're going to review that data, right? And we're going to find areas that our emotions were taking us out of the game. Our trading was going on tilt. We were risking too much. And notice how I haven't even talked about risk management at all, right?
Yeah.
Because risk management and psyche are kind of the same thing, you know, to manage and control your trade and your emotions live, so you're not doing these crazy wild swings or over trading, right? So
I think, Hunter, I think if I can just butt in, I think trading in itself, like actually learning how to enter trades, exit trades, risk management. I mean, everyone knows we shouldn't risk more than 2% of our account, whatever your risk tolerance is. But it's actually then applying it, you know, then it can take, you know, for example, there's a great example. I've had a good friend of mine that, you know, came into our mentorship and what was watching our live streams, my live streams, you know, for over 3 years. And lost money for 3 years. He started to find a little bit of success towards the end of last year. Now, this is 3 years, not even 3 months, guys. And all of a sudden, started to find a little bit of success last year. This year, he's already taken $34,000 worth of payouts. In fact, one of the prop firms that he's used is Maven. So he's passed the challenge Maven. And so, and that only comes from time in the game. So you actually have to then apply it. And that's after you know how to do these 90 days, then it comes actually the application of it, you know, and that can take different times for everyone, you know. So don't expect, I think something just to mention is don't expect after 90 days to have it all waxed and you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally. So I'm going to finish off with in your last month, after you've kind of analyzed, you're going to sit down for a week, okay? 1 week. And you're going to say, because you can't just review it quickly, you know, this is going to take a while. You're going to look through and you're going to find faults, right? And you're going to recognize, how can I recognize that fault is appearing as it's about to happen? So you have to get some sort of cue, like maybe, you know, maybe you've had 3 losses in a row and it causes you to fault, or, you know, maybe your kid's crying in the background, it causes you to fault, different stresses or something. Find anything that you can that might trigger a fault. Okay. And then what we're going to do in the final month is, you are not going to care about the money. Once again, notice how we've never even talked about money yet. You're still not going to care about the money, but you're still going to be applying demo trading or prop firm trading, whatever you need to know, minimal risk. And all you're doing is now every single day, you're going to write down, did I follow all of those rules? Did I follow all of those faults and cut myself off? And every single day, you're going to give yourself a check or a no. Okay. And if you messed up all of the new rules you've applied for yourself, then, and you look at it at the end of the next month, you know you've got an issue, right? But if you need to reapply better emotional restraint. So that's your next step, right? After those 90 days. But if you do check the box every single day and you followed the rules every single day, well, guess what? You don't have a profitable strategy if we didn't make money, okay? So at the end of those 90 days, if you end up making money, you're good to go. If you end up losing money, you have 2 things that could have happened. 1, you didn't follow your rules and you need to practice discipline. 2, you don't have a profitable strategy. Okay. And that's going to base off of what percentage, and you're going to have to have a 95%. You're going to have to get every single day right for you to know this. Okay. Follow your rules and just check it off. I followed my rules. Don't write, don't journal, no nothing. That's my advice. James, what do you think?
They're saying in the chat that we should stop. We should shut up and let Emma speak.
Hey, yeah. I think Emma's going to come in with some questions here in a second. We had to get through it all step by step so that people don't get cranky that we're, you know.
This is the thing though, as you guys are talking, like everyone's asking questions and they're like, my question's not being answered. What the hell, Emma? I have to tell them that you guys are just so passionate about what you're talking about.
I think it's a really good topic, and hopefully that's a step-by-step topic that people can apply. James, you got more to add?
Yeah, so I like that what you said about like, okay, are you following your rules at the end of the 90 days? And then it's about, I think I like what you said there about not even looking at the profits. I think as a trader, you shouldn't even be looking at the profits even after, like, I would say even after your first year. If you can actually not lose money in your first year as a trader, you're probably doing better than 90% of, what's that saying? 90% of traders lose 90% of their money in the first 90 days.
And
so
this
if
is
you
why
can,
we're doing the 90-day thing right now,
yep.
because
So
nobody follows
exactly.
this.
Yep. I mean, if you can just if you can literally just break even at the end of your first year, you're doing better than 95%, 90% of traders. So I think what you said is bang spot on there. So yeah.
Awesome. Guys, let's get some questions about what we just discussed.
Okay. I have a lot of questions, so we'll
Yeah.
probably have to kind of power through these a little bit.
We got 15
so
minutes.
First one, true. As a beginner trader, do you think it's important for someone to find a community or partner to do some trading alongside?
Yeah. So the whole goal of the community is to bounce ideas off of and get new concepts, right? The second goal of the community is to keep you motivated, right? If you're doing this alone, there's no joy, there's no fun, it's the same with everything. Like, do you imagine going to play tennis alone? That's no fun, right? You're playing against a, you know what I mean? There's no point in doing anything alone, right? So, for my advice, you always need friends. Whether or not those friends are going to help you with your strategy, I doubt it. Yeah, that's an internal journey.
I actually watched a. Sorry.
No, you go. I just have follow-ups.
Okay, so I actually watched a movie the other day, Hunter. Was actually, I don't know, you guys are Canadian, so I don't know how much you know about NFL and that type of stuff. I know you got the Canadian Football League, but there was a guy from Kurt Warner, right? So Kurt Warner, he was obviously MVP, and it was a movie on him about the American underdog. You can go watch a movie, amazing movie. But anyway, he was speaking in the movie, or he won this, he won the championship, and his mom asked him, why are you so sad? And it's like, because I don't know. He's like, well, things are better done together, with someone. So I think you do need to have a community and someone to actually share in the highs and the lows with you. It's quite boring to do things alone, bro. Like, I think as humans, we're made to be, in companionship, honestly. So it's boring. 100%. Get a community, get a friend that you trade with, that you hold yourself accountable to, and that you share all the highs and the lows with, because you're going to, this journey can be lonely at times,
There's an interesting note that you should make sure that you're honest with this community, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To pretend like you're already profitable, or to trust other people saying that they're profitable, you need to have enough of a connection that hey, this guy might actually be losing money, or it might, you know what I mean? Because then you can be sold on false promises. If it's just if it's not the best community, you're gonna have to be rather close with these people.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
actually,
speaking of which, and community and forming that, someone specifically said that they joined a trading group that feels more like a cult, where everyone chants to the moon for every pair pick.
Oh, yeah, lovely.
And so
the meme coins.
They're saying, how do they find like a good trading community, not just some crazy cult?
Yeah. So the best ways, I think, are Discords that are not focused on somebody else's gain. So if it's a Discord for a certain meme coin or something like this, that is focused on particular sales. We do have a bit of a community ourselves on the Maven Discord. Of course, Maven is a company, but we're really striving to have a community behind it. And that's why we kind of do a couple of these community events, live streams, things like this. So you can start discussing and meeting people in there. And then from there, you can chat with them if you want. You can make your own little groups or things like this, right? But you can meet people in these bigger groups at least.
Yeah, I would say I know I always pride myself in the content that I put out on my channels and stuff like that. And you go give my YouTube a follow as well. I did make a nice video on this, but I think a good community to follow or be a part of is one that is actually, they share the wins and the losses. No one in this game wins 100% of the time. You can have, you can make money in a year, but you can have a 6-month drawdown. And if you're following someone that is only showing wins or showing MetaTrader screenshots that are profitable trades and they never show losses, you probably following a scammer. Sorry, just to put it straightforward like that.
Yeah. We don't like that word around here. That's a very offensive word in the trading world.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So actually, speaking of that, there was a couple comments about people saying they were letting their egos get ahead of them. Either they would just let their egos get ahead of their trading when they first started or they felt the need to show off to others.
Yeah.
How do people get over that?
Yeah, an interesting one with the community. That's kind of why I touched on, hey, you need to be best buddies with these guys. You know what I mean? And then that way they're all right when you say, hey, I had a shit day, or and then you can actually be honest with them, and you need to learn to be honest with yourself and honest with your buddies, right?
Well, Hunter, like if you're not being honest with yourself and with your mates and your accountability, like you're not actually benefiting yourself. You're only really lying to yourself, really, because you need to be. The only way to get better is actually to say, listen, I actually suck right now. What do I need to do to get better? And that's kind of happens after the 90 days, because there's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs, but you actually always have to look at yourself and be like, am I being honest with myself? What am I doing wrong? How can I improve?
Yeah. Let me just say, ask yourself, why are you showing off? Because usually people who are showing off they're trying to create maybe a bigger following so that they can sell something, usually, right? And they can sell you signals or a course or something like that. So unless you're doing that, which maybe you are selling the course, I don't care, right?
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm just to say, there's absolutely nothing wrong with selling a course or selling a signal, as long as it's open and transparent.
Exactly. Sorry. I perfectly share the views, right? As long as you know what you're getting when you buy it, right?
Yes.
So then are you just trying to fit in? So it's an interesting thing. And when you start asking yourself these questions, it actually does help with your trading is, hey, why am I entering this trade? Is it because I'm trying to make money? Is it trying to cover losses? Same thing. Am I trying to fit in as a good trader? Right. And then you can start analyzing these why am I taking these actions? Right. And the first step to controlling your actions is to recognize your emotion behind it.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other good questions there?
That's a good one.
Yeah. There was a ton of good questions today. I've written down some. There's others coming in. So yeah. How can a trader identify if they're moving too quickly in their learning or trading process, and how can they slow that down? I think that kind of ties into the ego question a bit.
Learning too quickly.
Jeez, that's a new one.
I mean, you have to think about it this way, right? Sometimes you start a new thing and you get you're like, wow, I'm getting really good at this. I'm learning a lot. This is going great. And then you crash out later because you didn't really take the time to reinforce skill sets. So I guess that's kind of more the question.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know, Hunter, just my basis on that is, just compete against yourself. You're not competing against anyone else but yourself. So compare yourself to where you were last month, last week. What are you doing? Do you actually something that I enjoy in my own trading and life is that I actually have a specific work on for each week in my trading. So this week, for example, my work on was I'm not going to over risk, right? I'm not going to risk more than 1% per trade. Okay, perfect. That's my work on. And then just taking week by week. So, I think that, over learning, I think there's never, you can never know enough. We're always learning in this game, but that's just something now. Just compete against yourself. Don't worry about how fast you're going or how slow you're going. Just focus on where you're going in your own journey.
That I like that a lot. I do something similar for anything I'm trying to progress on. And all I do is I say one thing per day, and all I have to do is one thing towards the goal I want per day. And if I have multiple things I'm doing in my day, right, I might have multiple things, one for each, right? So your one thing for that day, might be to do your work on thing that you're suggesting, right? It's a similar sort of concept.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Another one that I find interesting is someone was essentially asking if they should implement in their 90-day process a carrots or stick approach. Like if they're doing well, they reward themselves with something. If they're doing badly, should they punish themselves? How can that kind of fit into the process?
I would say
no carrot, no stick, nothing.
James, what do you think? I think it's ridiculous.
No, in terms of what? Like if they're doing well, then they reward themselves, and if they're doing poorly, then they punish themselves. That type of thing.
Yeah, they're asking about carrot and stick specifically, but if you believe in one or the other, you can also chime in on
To be
that.
honest, that's the first I've ever heard of that phrase, carrot and stick. So I must admit that.
Oh, really? Do you know where
Yeah,
it stems from?
maybe my English. I'm not speaking the Queen's English in South Africa. Maybe that's the thing.
No, it's an old timey phrase that is actually talking about a donkey pulling a cart, and like you either give them the carrot for doing well, or you give them the stick for performing badly. So.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, the Queen's English. I learned something. I learned something new today, Hunter. I learned something new today.
Yeah, the Queen's notorious for wanting to eat carrots. They would run her around.
Yeah.
So you need old-timey saying explained. That's me.
No, I agree with Hunter. I mean, you in your first 90 days of trading, that's pathetic. Like you should, I mean, you're brand new to something. Of course, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be, and you're not going to be the world's best trader either. Some of these guys have been doing it for 15 years and still learning every single day. 20. So no, that's silly. So just take it one day at a time.
The thing with this is one, negative reinforcement is proven to not work and actually just makes you build resentment for the entire project and you start hating trading, right? And then two, if you have positive reinforcement, what you're going to do is you're going to start FOMOing in more. Your positive reinforcement is you're making money.
Yeah,
you already have it. So why would you add more FOMO?
Yeah,
exactly. You already have it. You're amplifying the emotions which you're already trying to dampen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, perfect response, honestly. Another one is, what is a skill that's underrated in trading but makes a huge difference if it's mastered early?
Yeah.
What is an underrated skill in trading?
My answer is, I think a lot of people might know, is mindfulness, right? Is
psychology, mindfulness,
meditation, and being able to sit still, right?
Yeah. So James, they were asking specifically on like something that is really beneficial when you master it early on. So.
Okay. Yeah. Really.
Something non-trading related.
Okay. Non-trading related.
Right.
Okay.
It could be either, but I think non-trading related is kind of more.
Okay. Hunter gave a non-trading related one. I thought he was going to say, getting a good bench press form, but we'll do something.
that counts meditation.
Yeah. But I think trading related one, and this is something that I'm still learning, is actually learning to take losses, because I think a lot of traders, they hate taking losses and then they'll revenge trade or try and jump back in or move. One bad thing for me that was poor for me in the beginning of my trading journey was I'd move my stop loss. So I'd be in a trade, it would come against me, I'd move my stop loss lower. So I think accepting losses is something that I think is a very underrated skill.
So would you recommend the very first trade that somebody takes is just go in and just blow your account so you can get used to it?
Yeah, go take your first trade and make it a 1-point stop on the NASDAQ and just instantly lose.
I think what we should do is we should get them to buy a Maven challenge, use code JB, right?
Yeah.
And then just blow it. And now you know the worst case scenario. You know it instantly.
Yeah, exactly. That's classic.
So actually, speaking of prop firm accounts and challenge accounts, someone was asking if prop firms are a good stepping stone for traders, or if they can add a little too much pressure to the journey.
Yeah, no, it's less pressure. And I'll be honest with you guys. I trade so much better on prop firms because I don't care, right? It completely removes all of my emotion behind it, and it's none of my own capital. I put the money down that's spent, right? And if I blow the account, $100, you know what I mean? It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're trading on your live funds, you know that is a continuous forever system. Right.
Yeah.
That it never ends. So you could continually just keep blowing and blowing and blowing. With the prop firm account, it's like, okay, I blew the account, gone next day,
Yeah. No, I was going to say, let's say you're trading also prop firm accounts and you lose 10%, right? That your drawdown's 10, 8%, whatever the hell it is, and you lose 10%. Well, you've only really lost the money that you paid for the challenge. If you put in $10,000 into a personal trading account and you lose 10%, there's no reset button. You've lost 10% of 10 grand, which is what, we're not mathematicians, but that's $1,000, right? So yes, I would say prop firms are great. in terms of leveraging your trading business. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anyone that hates on prop firms, and anyone that hates on prop firms
No,
is
go
simply
for it.
not making and is simply not making money from them.
There you go. Hey, yeah.
Yeah. It's simply not making money. Or another thing that I find, because I'm on our social sometimes, right, is that people haven't actually read through the FAQs and they don't exactly know what they're doing. So that's kind of my big advice to people is make sure you read the facts and understand what you're doing.
Emma, we got time for one more question.
Okay. So you know what? This is a good kind of roundup question. If you were to start trading all over again, what would you do differently in your first 90 days?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know mine would learn. Mine would be probably not trade with real money and learn what a stop loss is. That's the things that I would learn because I didn't know that in my first 90 days.
Yeah. Yeah, what my process would be basically what we just kind of talked about before. Come up with some sort of strategy, and then for each strategy, I would buy. So I would test them maybe live, maybe 3 different strategies that I think might work for me, and I would test each one on a prop firm challenge. And depending on which one performed the best for me live trading on that prop firm challenge, I would then try to start applying it in the long haul, right? I would continually buy prop firm challenges because they teach you and ingrain proper skills into your trading habits. So you're not over risking or anything, right? From there, I would move all of the profits I took from prop firm challenge into Bitcoin. I just keep buying Bitcoin. I wouldn't touch it. Just keep buying Bitcoin, right? And then 4 years down the line, when, boom, okay, now I have a profitable strategy, I'm going to pull all that money out of Bitcoin and then start trading it on my own account in whatever market, right? And then I would retire from prop firms using a budget of a monthly set amount for prop firms until that point.
Yeah, I actually used to day trade. And when I day traded, I didn't realize the importance of the community aspect that you guys talked about before, mainly as well because I was joining communities and then going, what the hell is going on in here? Because in my defense, most of the trading communities are very, very male dominant communities, and men kind of talk a little differently from women. So it's a bit of an interesting experience as like a woman just starting in day trading. But I would have made more attempt to find more peers to talk to and kind of get started with. I think that's super important.
Totally.
Yeah, that's actually fair because I think it can be quite tough for women because, as you said, it's male dominated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fantastic men who are like super into women joining the space. And it's like, yeah, everyone should just try to make money. And then there's always the occasional bad like person in there who just doesn't really want to see anyone succeed in general, and they'll use anything against anyone. So
no, it's funny, women are actually statistically better traders.
Statistically better long-term investors and traders. I think it's like they win out by like it's just 1.3%.
Except for Kathy Wood. Except for ARK Investments and Kathy Wood, Hunter.
Oh man. Women have a completely different set of obstacles. Men usually have to control their impulses, and women are usually a little bit shyer to take action.
Yeah.
Two different challenges.
Pros and cons to both. By the way, they want you to talk about ETH next time.
Ethereum. Ain't no chance I'm talking about ETH. All right, guys.
Gasp.
Ethereum is
not a fan of ETH.
Guys, Ethereum is old. It's done nothing. It's a dying project that has a terrible chart. You should not be invested in it.
There you go.
Not financial advice.
Your talk on ETH.
Not financial advice. Do what you want. Lose all the money you want. But if you do buy ETH, you're going to lose all your money. It's another platform that it has a lot of competition now. So it's no longer the dominant in the space. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to lose market share. Guys, and that's our stream. That's 1 hour, pretty much on the dot. Emma, somebody won a $50,000 Maven challenge, and all the other people who didn't win are going to go to maventrading.com by themselves.
And they're going to use the code and they're going to use the code JB.
They're going to use whatever code they want. All right.
You know what? Your code is very easy to remember. So it's not like people can say that they forgot it. It's literally just your initials.
Yeah.
So So our winner today is Des Trades. I will pop it in the chat, and I will let our Discord team know that you're going to be coming into our Discord. I will also pop our Discord link in the chat for you.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching every single
Yeah.
Tuesday. Next month, we have a whole new topic. This month was momentum. Today, we chatted about the first 90 days using that momentum to get yourself profitable. There's a lot of other streams that we've done, so you can go back and watch them all too if you're interested. We got James Bruce. His handle is James Bruce 131.
Yes, sir.
And we got Emma market_scope on Twitter.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
I thought
Guys,
it was property mogul.
Property mogul.
I know the way he talks about it would be. I actually messaged him
Hunter.
after like last time. I was like, you do know it, like my property only makes up a percentage of my portfolio, right? And he's like, well, you got to talk about it more then.
Ooh, you're so rich. I see. Okay.
Come on, like everyone has
Guys, we're having fun. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Cheers,
Bye.
guys.